I didn't feel like that was something that I truly wanted to do. I felt like I didn't have the patience nor at the time the knowledge to train somebody else. I could train myself, but training somebody else was completely different. It definitely gave me more fuel to prove somebody wrong. And I feel like there's nothing better than proving yourself right and proving people who are close to you wrong. Your strength is really built through your weakness. So when you fall down, sit there and feel the pain. Feel when you fell down, feel it, really absorb it. Don't get back up so quickly. Sit down and stay down for a while. That way you can really embrace what happened to make me fall down. And that way when you do come back up, you don't repeat it again and you're more grateful for that situation.
There's so many series of events where you literally could have said, let's wrap it, bro. This is done. Like clearly, God is showing me that this is not for me. And why did you not give up? Guys, welcome back to the Leaders Talk Podcast, right? The place where you can learn from CEOs, entrepreneurs, politicians, influencers, leaders amongst every industry. And for what, right? Because we don't want to waste time. So that you can ultimately develop into the leader that you are destined to be. But guys, if you couldn't tell in this different background, arguably one of the most recognizable trainers here in South Florida, even in the nation, maybe even the world.
Got clients in different parts of the world.
Guys, let me just name drop, because I know a lot of people on the internet, you have to put numbers and names. So
Right.
Guys, has trained Justin Jefferson, Aiden Ross, Speed, Billionaire Barber. I mean, there's a lot of people, but those are just some of them that come top of mind. Guys, none other than Mac Method. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
So, I know like we spoke off camera. I want to sum up the story for your audience, because I think I heard this. I'm like, you know what? Let me just, instead of asking him, let me just reiterate the story in like a condensed version. So, you have been in the personal training game for 9 years, right? Over 9 years.
9 years. It'll be 10 years next year in March.
It's exciting. 10 years.
Yeah.
So, almost 10 years. When you first had started, you actually started by accident because you just needed a job. It was 22. You were 22. You needed a job.
Right. And I applied for a front desk, and they ended up calling me back, telling me they just hired somebody for the front desk, so I could fill in as a personal trainer.
And it's not. But I remember by the sound of the interview, it's like you were when they first said it, you were even like, "Nah, bro, I don't want to do that." Like,
I was hesitant on it just because I didn't feel like that was something that I truly wanted to do. I felt like I didn't have the patience nor at the time the knowledge to train somebody else. I could train myself, but training somebody else was completely different, So I didn't want to do that.
And then fast forward just a little bit, I think it was exactly 9 months later.
Mm-hmm.
Go with my numbers.
Yeah, stats are good, bro.
But 9 months later, you were kind of fed up because you were getting paid a super low rate, a low hour. What's the exact number? Like 8?
I mean, the reason that I was fed up was because I was notified that people were making $5-6 more an hour than I was doing much less. You get me? And I was making like almost $9 an hour while people were making 14 something at a UFit or Planet Fitness, while I was about to graduate with a college degree in exercise science, and I was running the entire place, closing shop, opening shop, cleaning it, running everything. You get me? So it was just like, it didn't make sense. And I pretty much got fed up at 8-9 month mark, more or less. And I asked for a raise. Maybe if there was something we could do, come to an agreement. He basically told me, because of the fact that he was expanding, mind you, expanding because of myself, right? That he didn't have anything to give me.
And then when he said that, actually, it wasn't like a $1 raise that you're like,
so then he came back and it was like less than $1. I think it was like 50 cents or 60 cents that he offered me more. And then at this point, it's like, you're basically telling me like, you don't.
Disrespectful. Yeah. So, and I think the most interesting part, the part that I'm getting to, because at that point, you're like, bro, I'm fed up of all this stuff. And like, very coincidental, as soon as you're like, yo, I'm done with this stuff, somebody comes in, is like, yo, by the way, look, the owner said I could train with you. And you're like, no, whatever. And then I'm training. And then he said he liked you so much that you're like, yo, can you train me personally? And the reason that I bring that up, and it's obviously a lot more to the story, but that specific point is because a lot of people at that position, I think, would be like, okay, bro, clearly, like, this guy's telling me I'm not worth anything. I'm worth this amount. What do I know about personal fitness? And then even when you tried charging this guy that said, hey, can you do it personally? You didn't even know what to charge him. I heard that you told me, I'll get back to you later because you didn't know what to charge.
Exactly.
Where at that point were you like, well, maybe I really can do this. Like, maybe I really can be a badass personal trainer.
I mean, I knew that I was doing a good job when I saw the group classes go from like 3 or 4 girls to like 20 plus girls in a matter of like 2 months. So I knew that people liked my energy, my personality, my style of training. But really when I transformed that first client in my parents' garage is when I knew, okay, look, if I can replicate this over and over and over, it's going to take off. You get me? And Joel was my first transformation in my parents' garage. And then his sister jumped in 2 months, 3 months later after his transformation. I transformed her another 2 months later. And from there it was just a domino effect. You know, like the proof was in the pudding. And from there, it's undeniable. When you transform somebody, the pictures are there.
100%,
you know?
yeah.
And that's really when I kind of felt that turn.
Yeah, and I want to say you going into your parents' garage was after the fact of this, but kind of the timeline. So that's like the 9-month timeline. Then you went to your parents' garage, and then after that, you went to your place, got kicked out of there because they figured out that you were bringing people there.
Yeah.
And then opened up. You got your own place, opened up, I think, your own garage.
So there was a couple of things that went on in between. Left my parents' place. I was kind of forced out of my parents' place because they were sick and tired of me working out of there. And then I went to a sublease at a gym. That gym ended up closing. Sublease at another gym. At this time, I had just got my apartment. The apartment had its own gym in there in the apartment. I ended up transferring clients slowly into that apartment gym to avoid paying, the lease and to have more privacy, so I didn't have to be in a gym with tons of people. That's also when I found out, like, the privacy factor is huge, right? That intimate setting, that exclusivity is what people want, especially in a trainer, especially if you're trying to charge high ticket. That exclusivity is a must, right? So that's when I really found that out, training people in my apartment gym because it was empty, right? So I was there about 1.5 years, and then the association basically threatened to, kick me out. And then that's when one of my clients, who was a realtor, I told her I need to find a property ASAP.
Yeah.
And I decided to go ahead, build a gym in a 2-car garage, right? I bought my house, 24 years old, bought myself a house with a 2-car garage, took out a $25,000 loan, converted that into an actual gym. To this day, people think that was a gym. They ask me what happened to that small gym that I had. That's how good it looked.
Yeah.
And then from there, I was there for about a year, from 2018 to 2020 when COVID really popped off. I was there. COVID, I'm going through this fast just to sum it up for you.
Yeah.
So COVID ended up shutting all the gyms down, which in turn made our business boom,
And this is where they got born in COVID.
And this is literally it. So I actually got this place I got it at the end of 2020. Yeah, I got this place October of 2020. So the COVID year, right? I call it the COVID year. I mean, everybody does.
Of course, yeah.
So 2020, I end up, I skipped the part. So I'm training in my garage. Then I get contacted by this gym called DBC, which is a very prestige gym. LeBron James trained there. Dwayne Wade trained there. Bunch of other big names have trained there. NFL and NBA golfers, ton of pro athletes have trained there. I end up getting a job interview with them. They reach out to me. I go to a job interview. I'm there for about 2 months. While I'm there, I get a feel for the I get a feel for the space. I get a feel for what makes them so prestige, what makes them so elite, right?
Yeah.
And during that time, I realized, damn, these people, what makes them who they are, the pillars that they have, their foundation is what I have. That's what I pride myself in having, the same thing that they have. And at the same time, tons of my clients and other people were telling me, like, why don't you open your own, right? And I'm just like, man, I don't have the income for that. I can't open a gym like that. 60, 70 grand.
Yeah.
So I ended up staying there for 2 months, but it was just a fight. It was a battle between training clients at my place and training clients there. So
because I heard, just to add in, because I heard that it wasn't that he was against it, but he was like trying to draw you and
right. And at the end of the day, like, being a business owner now and having trainers that work for me, I understand what he was trying to do. You kind of want things to be transparent, and the less mix up there is, the better it is for the brand as a whole.
Yeah.
So basically, I end up going back to my place. When I go back to my place, one of the clients that I met there tells me, hey, look, if you find yourself a spot, I believe in you so much that I will fund the entire gym. Tells me that, right? I will pay the entire gym. You told me 50, 60 grand. I will pay all the equipment. Done deal. Easy. So at this point, I'm 25, 26 years old. I'm like, for sure, I'm believing anything I hear come out of his mouth because I want it to come true. So I end up looking at 3 or 4 different spaces, commercial spaces.
Yeah.
And I got turned down for like 2. We couldn't come to terms on the negotiation. Then I find this place. I fall in love with it. I don't even haggle the price, nothing at all. I just right off the bat, I sign the lease. I call him. I tell him, hey, look, I signed on the lease. Let me know if you want me to give you my wire info or how you want me to do it. So he tells me, give me until tomorrow. I'm dealing with something. So I'm all right. Just to fast forward a little bit. Never responds to any of my texts. Stops coming to training.
The agent that was representing you?
No, the client that told me he was going to fund me.
Oh, the client that told you.
That told me they were going to fund me. I already signed the lease. I got the place. And I already put the deposit down. I already paid the first month, whatever. And doesn't answer the phone, doesn't answer anything, doesn't show up to training anymore. Completely ghosts me. Like, ghosts me. Now it's like a month in. I've already paid my first month, and I'm like, okay, it's been a month. He's not coming around. Obviously, it's time to once again get innovative and figure it out. So what do? Put my house for sale, and with that money, I start to fund this. I start to buy pieces of equipment. I start to do the artwork. I start to put the floor down. Start to do everything.
Let me ask you, because, and it's crazy how everything leads up to the original question that I was going to say, because I think up until now, you've had so many like reasons to stop. You've had so many reasons outside in, like a person that is an entrepreneur that doesn't understand that, like, that's normal. That's normal for shit to go south. Would be like, bro, why didn't you quit when this happened? Why didn't you quit? Like I just want to name a couple of them so they understand, like, your parents didn't really support you, believe
at all.
So
look, I have 3 brothers. All 3 of them are firefighters. Yeah. You get me? So what I'm doing is like from another planet. You get me? None of them supported it. None of them supported this. My father was also a firefighter. My mom works at a bank. So imagine what I'm doing is completely left field.
But are you kind of grateful that they didn't believe in you at the time?
I am, because it definitely gave me more fuel, to prove somebody wrong. And I feel like there's nothing better than proving yourself right and proving people who are close to you wrong. You get me? That means so much more than proving some random person on Instagram who comments on your page wrong. At the end of the day, it's going to be more sentimental and more meaningful when you're proving somebody wrong that's close to you.
Interesting. So back to the thing, like you had the failure. I mean, your parents didn't support you. When you said, hey, where's my raise? I'm worth more than this guy. This guy to the left and right of me is making less, and he's not that. And then the gym getting closed down. You had the lease. Then this guy going to, like, there's so many series of events where you literally could have said,
right.
Let's wrap it, bro. This is done. Like, clearly, God is showing me that this is not for me. Why did you not give up?
It's a few reasons, right? One, I love what I did. So I was like, I'm going to make it work one way or another. When you're really passionate about something, you're only thinking about the positives. You're not letting the negatives get in the way. And that's something I think that if you're able to understand that, or if you're able to come to terms with yourself that, look, this is what I'm passionate about and this is the only option that I have, you're going to do anything. You're going to realize that it's meant for you. If you have that mindset, it's just meant for you. And then the other thing was also, I always felt like, this is one thing people would tell me, make sure you love what you do, because you're going to spend the rest of your life doing it. All right. So that was really big to me, because I had 13 jobs before I did this. Yeah. So I was able to really resonate with people when they said, make sure you love it, because it's what you're going to do the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. Having 13 jobs, you're like, all 13, this is not what I want to do, and not one of the jobs that I had, from valet to working as a transporter in the hospital, to working at Winn-Dixie stacking cans, to working as a Little Leagues basketball coach, to working as at a bike store, to working at, anything you could think of, right? To doing all those things. And you realize, like, all these things taught me something, but I wasn't happy at either of these places. This is not what I was passionate about. So when I finally found something that I was passionate about, and I was also able to help people feel a certain way, feel good about themselves, I was like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I want in my life. And by any means, it's what I'm going to continue to do in my life.
And I think that shows, a tree by the way it bears fruit. Like, that that's really true what you're saying, because 9 years of continuous, like I said, you could have stopped here. You could have stopped here. You could have quit here. Yeah, I mean, you could have really left here. But I think another side of it is that, like you said, you felt purposeful. You felt like this is what you wanted to do.
Yeah, you feel fulfilled.
But at the same time, did you feel like fulfilled from the get-go? And I want to explain like why I asked this, because I think a lot of especially the younger generation. I'm still 19. Like I literally just turned 19. Like I see my friends around me. Like,
Right.
yo, I want to feel purposeful. You know, I want to find something that. And a lot of times, I don't think it's you won't know if the thing that you're doing right now is your purpose. You kind of figure out over time of like, you know what?
So one thing that I could tell you is I knew this was something I was passionate about when I was doing it, not caring about the money, right? I wasn't even concerned about how much am I making per session. I wasn't concerned about, am I getting paid up front for the month? I wasn't concerned about anything other than being there to train that client and watching that client get results. That's all I cared about.
Yeah.
So that's when I knew like, okay, this is something that I can do for a long time. And then it just so happens coincidentally that when these clients start to, it starts to spread and these clients start to inquire, potential clients start to inquire over and over and over, you're like, okay, you're 20, 22 years old and you're seeing $5,000, $6,000 come in a month through your bank account. You're like, this is insane. I used to make like $400 a paycheck, working at Sports Authority, like literally 8 months ago.
Yeah.
So the fact that that was also happening while I was doing what I loved, I was like, man, I want to do this forever. Like, I can't leave this.
That's really powerful. And I think I was talking, I had a dinner with a client that we were talking about something that people say, oh, if you love what you do, you'll never work again. And I was like, okay, cool. There was a video or something that we were talking about from a video that we saw that there was a flip coin to that not only do you have to really love what you do, but you also have to like actually treat it like work. You can't love it so much that you forget about the money. Well, right. I love what I do so much. I don't care about how much you pay me. Like you have to still conduct it as a business. But I think hearing your story now in person, hearing it like through all the podcasts, there's not enough time that can really shed light to show that. Like, I don't know how to put it like in correct words, but it's hard to paint the picture in their head what that 9 years must have looked like. Like,
yeah.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, but this started in 2020, like this exact spot. But up until then, there was nothing to believe in. Like, there was nothing to say like, yo, you're going to make it, bro. Yo, you're going to do amazing. Like, there was nothing for the next 5 years, 6 years.
Nothing. For
the first 5 years, 6 years. And that's interesting because a lot of times, and I've said this multiple times, that you don't need, a lot of times when we start something, we start a business, we start whatever it may be, we look for other people to believe in us.
Right.
Look for other people to say, yo, you could do it, bro. You're up next, bro. You're going to train this guy. But we really need like the disbelief of people telling us, yo,
correct.
Good luck with that shit. Because then that's what really instills the self-belief,
Yep. I don't look up to a lot of people, but one person that I do look up to, and I've read his books and I've viewed a lot of his podcasts, is Tim Grover, right?
Tim Grover, yeah.
So Michael Jordan's trainer, Kobe Bryant's trainer, for those who don't know. And he says it all the time that your strength is really built through your weakness, right? So when you fall down, sit there and feel the pain. Feel, when you fell down, feel it, really absorb it. Don't get back up so quickly. Sit down and stay down for a while. That way you can really embrace what happened to make me fall down. And that way when you do come back up, you don't repeat it again and you're more grateful for that situation.
Interesting. My dad used to always tell me something growing up, that a wise man learns from others' mistakes and his own. So you always have to understand, like, okay, something happened. This didn't work. Okay, what can I learn from this? But I want to get to like the entrepreneurship side, because I don't think you really have ever like gotten into the entrepreneurship, your online coaching program, an academy, right?
Right.
Academy for other trainers. I don't think you actually really gotten into that.
I haven't really like explained it much. I haven't really gone through it.
So I think your growth and growth in general, whether it's business growth, personal development, whatever it may be, growth comes in stages, meaning you have like your first stage of growth, you have your first couple followers, your 10,000 followers, your first client, your first 3 clients that come on a retainer, like first growth, and your second growth, your third growth.
Levels, for sure.
And I think, the level there is a better word. I think the level that you're at right now is like, you have so much to lose, quote unquote, that it's like, okay, but what's next? Like, what's the next big move?
It's funny. So when you start acquiring these celebrity clients, their fan base comes with it, right? So now it's like, you not only brought on, the Ada Ross, the Speed, the Justin Jefferson, the Yasiel Puig, and whatever, so on. You brought on all their fans. So now the eyes that are on you is elevated 100x, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm talking about, you look at your message requests and you have hundreds of messages from their fans, either applauding you or, dissing you. One of the two. It comes with it, right? So back to what you were saying, when you get to a certain point, I had this conversation with one of my trainers the other day. talking about details, you have a lot more to lose because you have a lot more eyes that are on you.
100%.
You know, versus when you're in your parents' garage, it's like nobody knows who you are. Nobody cares if you succeed or if you fail. Nobody knows. You know, they haven't seen any signs of success. There hasn't been any proof that you're gonna be something or someone. So there's pros and cons when you continue to climb. It's not all, oh man, you get to travel on jets and, you know, you get to drive this car and you get to have gyms. There's a lot that comes with it. With great power really does come great responsibility, you know?
I like that.
But I mean, what's next for me right now? I mean, I'm only training 3 clients right now. 3 clients, all I have time for because of the fact that we travel and stuff like that a lot. So my biggest thing right now is I just started an academy for trainers.
Yeah.
And basically what it is, it's my entire blueprint of my business, how I started from my parents' garage to flying on private jets from A to Z, you know, broken down through an entire course. So I'm basically helping other trainers that are either stuck or either just starting, elevate their business, elevate their brands, and learn how to build an audience and learn how to build a client book the right way.
So giving literally the blueprint of...
Literally. So like everything that took me 9 years to learn, I'm now giving it to you in 10 videos and a course. You get me? So I'm taking out all the fluff and I'm giving you what you need to know. All the things that I went through trial and error, all the things I wish I knew I had the answers to back then. Because when I started doing this, it was like you're a trainer at a 9-to-5 gym or, you know, you're an influencer. There was no like entrepreneurial trainer where you had your own business, you did your own thing, your own brand. Like that was still fresh. So it's like, how do you ask people about that when it doesn't exist?
I think on that level of growth, the same... to get to the level that you're at right now where you're training the celebrity clients, where you're opening up this, it's on school, right?
Yes.
You have your school community or academy where you're training other trainers. You can't do the same things that you were doing 6 years ago.
Evolution.
So let me ask you, what is it that you think took you to this level that you're at right now?
I mean, obviously ambition, right? You have to be ambitious. I wake up every day and I want to be better than the day before. That's just what it is. As simple as that. I just always constantly want to be better. And I feel like the best way to show that you love what you do and to pay it forward is to show gratitude back to what you do and work harder. You know, I feel like you showing gratitude, the way for you to show gratitude to what you do is to work harder. That's the way.
I heard, I think it was Alex Hormozi that said it. Or somebody, but there's so much like inspiration, like motivation, stuff that I forget who says it. But it was something like, if you really love yourself, if you love what you do, put in the hours, put in those like crazy
don't let anybody tell you that there's something wrong with it.
Exactly.
Right. I think a lot of it is sacrifice. A lot of it is literally, like I said, ambition, sacrifice. And by sacrifice, I mean, you can't be afraid to put in the 60, 70-hour weeks and miss the fun time with your friends and the going out and all that stuff. You just got to really sacrifice. Like, you got to want it more than anything else. I tell people that all the time. I know it's very cliche, but it's just that simple. Like, you got to want it more than anything else you do.
Were you in the beginning sacrificing those things, or were you kind of like half in, half out? You're still partying, you're still...
I mean, when I first started doing this, I was in the last semester of college, so I was juggling like school. So a lot of people don't know this. I was juggling school, my 40-hour internship a week, and I was doing 40 hours of personal training a week. So it was like nonstop.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I was sacrificing something. I was sacrificing my health. I was sacrificing my sleep. I was sacrificing my personal life. You know, like I had a girl at that time, but it was like I didn't have a girl at that time. Like I would get home, she would already be getting in bed because I'm getting home at 11 o'clock at night. I'd wake up the next day at 5 a.m. to go train clients, and she's not waking up till 7 a.m. So it's like I really don't have a girl. You know what I mean? So it's like I was sacrificing. I've been like that. And very early on, even when I made my first couple pennies training a client in my garage, the first couple pennies that I made, I'll never forget this. I went to a glass store, and mind you, we're in my parents' garage, bro. There's no mirrors. There's no like real equipment. Yeah. I went to a glass store. I think it was like the first $200 that I made. This is why I tell people reinvesting is everything. I bought a $200 glass. I heard it got ripped off, but it doesn't matter. I took the glass back home, and I had like a little 4x4 square just to say I have a mirror in my parents' garage, you know? And I wasn't making any money.
But that's powerful, because you know what it also is, and I really think the underlying message in between the lines from that is if you believe in yourself, prove it. Because so many people think, and I think this was entrepreneurship. Even when I started my market agency, the podcast, I was like, you know what? If I have this amount of clients on this retainer, then I can save this amount of money after expenses. Like,
Right.
that is not how it is, bro. Like, the reality of it, I want you to comment on it. It's literally, bro.
It's what you mean I do in order to not.
Exactly. You make the 15, 20K a month. You better believe that you're not saving 10K after your expenses. What you're doing is that you're finding a way to reinvest that so you can ultimately grow your business even more, you know?
I'll tell you, like, even with this space, I've bought new equipment every year.
Nah, it looks badass, bro. I wish you guys can, like, come in here in person.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I've bought, equipment constantly. Like, every year I'll update something, I'll change something, and it might be a 5,000 here, 10,000 there, but it goes back to the brand.
Of course.
And it goes back to what do you want to be viewed as, what do you want to be known for, and what standard do you want to hold? And that's really what it comes down to. To me, I tell people all the time, I'd rather be homeless, but my brands, what I stand for, looks impeccable, but I don't have a roof over my head. Just because at the end of the day, my brand is what I put everything into. It's like my child.
It's gonna go viral. That was good, bro. That was good. Another topic that I really want to get into that I don't think you have gotten into as well, but you talked about it vaguely, that you had an experience, I think, COVID year or 2 years ago, you broke your shoulder and then you got not depressed, but you were taking pills, like something.
Yeah, I mean, no, I definitely got depressed for sure. That's the first time in my life I've ever dealt with depression. At least I think I have. But basically what happened was, think about it. I'm a trainer, I'm an athlete. My whole life, sports, fitness has been my outlet, right? But you don't really realize it because you've always been doing that. But that's really your drug, So imagine I had my surgery and that was completely taken away from me for like 6-7 months. I couldn't work out. I couldn't do any physical activity. And then on top of that, it's like what I do as a trainer, it requires you to be physical. So I couldn't do a lot. But that was honestly the craziest thing. Like I say, your strength is built during your weakness, right? The best thing that could have happened because it forced me to create a team. So basically, and it didn't even happen like, oh, I'm going to make a team because I got injured. It happened organically. My cousin, which is Chris, the trainer that you saw right here.
He's your cousin?
He's my cousin.
What? Yo, that's crazy, bro.
Chris is my cousin. So long story short, bro, he comes in. He would just sit there. He would just hang out, watch me train clients. This is like 2-3 months before I had my surgery. And he would just hang out here. He liked the energy here. He would talk to my clients. He would get familiarized with it. And he was a senior in high school at the time. And then this happens, and or he had just graduated. This happens, and then I kind of told him, hey, look, I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need you to help me re-rack the weights. I'm going to have you demonstrate the exercises and stuff like that until I'm better. And fast forward, him helping me 6 months later, I end up just telling him, hey, look, take over this set of clients for me. Ends up training them, ends up getting 2 or 3 transformations out of that. And now he's got 20-something clients, and he's been here for 2 years. Yeah, he makes 3 years, actually, in December.
That's really impressive, bro. And especially he's young. Where was he, 21?
Yeah, he was 18 at the time. Now he's 21.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I think that's a sign because... Actually, just there's a question. I'm going to pin the question because I didn't get to ask you the question, but I think that there's like 2 sides of like being a young entrepreneur, making money young, which is... people either believe online that you really cannot do it, that's not possible, stay in college, all that stuff, or you see like the extremes, which I'm not saying it's not real, but you see like 17-year-olds, they're netting $100,000 a month. I'm like, all right, bro, like it may be real for them, bro, but like everybody's at their own pace. I was like, bro, like everybody's at their own pace. Like even me, sometimes I get to that place where I'm like, wait, but my marketing agency is doing this amount. Like
that's because of social media, bro.
Exactly, bro. And I think the bigger message is like, bro, everybody has their own race and everybody has their own timing. Like,
yeah, for sure.
And I think you can't. It's very easy with social media. It sounds cliche because people say it's
like that myself. You know, I had a time like that myself where I was like, it was almost just, it would make me angry. Like I would see certain people in a certain position knowing that I proved more or I had more proof of work or whatever the case may be. And I'd be like, why them? But sure enough, you fast forward and when it's your time, bro, it's your time. And when you capitalize on that time, your life will change.
And I think more than that time, I think everything is God's timing. There's something that
for sure
Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you. And the reason I say is because that's actually the question that I was going to ask you, because you mentioned in that period that you were going through the depression, the pills, that you found God.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then you never had faith before then. Like you never really...
I believed in God, but I wasn't a big believer. Like I always knew there was a God. My family's religious. My family's Christian. But I was never like, I would never pray. I would never say like, oh, thank God or anything like that. So for sure, definitely through that time and the way, not only did my business grow, but the way that I grew, I definitely realized that faith is a real thing.
100%. And I think I always say, Coach told me, is walk by faith and not by sight. And I think there's a lot of, people don't realize, like, there's a lot of faith required for anything that you do, because it's never going to be black and white. It's never just going to be like, okay, this is the roadmap, this is how you go. Like, there's a lot of unforeseeable, like, things that have to happen that you're like, who do I trust in other than God? Like, there's nothing that I can do in this situation. Like, there's nothing I can do. Let me ask you, in that period where the pills of depression, you started seeking God, what changed after you truly, like, started seeking God after you?
I started understanding that the tribulations, these struggles were all for a reason. Like, I honestly, at that point, I was like, okay, all the whys that you ask yourself, why is this happening to me? Why now? There was a reason for all of them. So it allowed me to have, faith when there was future struggles or future tribulations. It was like, okay, there's something coming after this that's better. So just breathe and get through it.
And before God, what do you think it was? And like,
honestly, I'm a firm believer that you're in control of your life 99% and you're in control of your future 99%. So since I was always putting in the work working my ass off, I always felt like I should be at the place that I'm at because I put in so much work. I never told myself, oh, this was luck or this was a blessing. I told myself, I've literally sacrificed everything, including my own health, to get here. It should be this way. So that's why I was never so big into like, thank you.
But now you see it as...
Oh, absolutely. Because he took me places that I didn't even think that I could go.
And I think there's a big message with that you could take yourself very far. You could take yourself through your own works, but imagine how far you could be with the creator of the whole world, creator of the universe. Like that power and that understanding that you have somebody on your side, like somebody exactly guarding you, somebody that's guiding you, somebody that's giving you blessings that you can never go after on your own works. Is like a different level. And I think
I agree.
And I'm happy that you're open, you're talking about that, because I think that's important as well, because you see a lot of people on social media, online, that they talk about all the money, the success, all these different things, and they're like, bro, you just got to grind it out, bro, you just got to do all these different things, which is correct. But also, what does it matter? Like, literally, the Bible says it, like, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his own soul? So you did everything in your own works, but you don't know God. Like, God didn't help you. Like, it was all you. Okay, that's cool for you, but I think there's a lot more meaning, a lot more purpose.
I agree.
When you think like that.
Yeah, I agree. For sure.
But I really appreciate you taking the time. We can keep going, bro, but I know your time is limited. So I actually got something for your birthday. Guys, fun fact, we share the same birthday, June 11th. So if you guys didn't text him happy birthday, I think it's going to come out like next week. So text him happy birthday if you did it. But I got you a book because I know you have your online academy. So I know you're going to start leading a bunch of people. So it's a leadership book. I hope you enjoy it. I don't know if you're a big reader.
Can I open it right now? Or?
Sure, go ahead. It was one of, I don't know if you know who John Maxwell is.
John, yeah, I do.
It's one of the best books that I've ever read. So I was like, I have to like.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard about it.
Yeah. I actually have another book by him, but yeah, I do read actually.
He has a bunch of different books, but I specifically got that one because
damn, it's fire.
I know you're starting your academy. How long has it been?
It's been 2 weeks, and we already have like 20 something plus.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Wow. So that's a book on leadership, because I think you're ultimately, and I see it, bro. You have it already. I think through your platform, you're going to start leading a lot of people, and I think being a leader that is selfless, that thinks of others better than themselves, understanding how to properly lead people, I think in any business and anything that you do is going to really impact you and grow your business. So many different things. So I hope you enjoy the book, bro. I hope it's good, bro. I
read a little bit. Gonna hit right here.
I'm like a skim reader. I don't know about you, bro, but like I'm like a skim reader.
I highlight.
You highlight?
Yeah, I highlight. I actually sit there. It might take me longer to finish the book, but I really do absorb it because I highlight. So, but yeah, no, this is dope, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
I hope you enjoy it, bro. Thank you for your time, bro, because
thank you, man.
I know you got a million other things that you can do, but guys, seriously, this was one of the, I think the smoothest and most enjoyable podcasts that I've had. Definitely if you didn't learn anything from this podcast, I mean, you got to like rewatch it, take some notes. We're going to have timestamps. So just, I don't know, rewatch it again. But if you did make it to the end, guys, I'm going to tag your Instagram, your school academy, everything. Guys, if you are a trader, if you're watching this right now and you are somebody that, hey, you know what? I do want to become a personal trainer. Or, hey, look, I'm a personal trainer and I'm stuck at that 2K, 3K, 1K mark. He'll sell it more. But, guys, if you want to level up your personal training game, if that's you, guys, I'm going to link everything. DM him. Do whatever you need to do. Check him out. He's legit. And seriously, appreciate it, bro.
Organic and straight to the point and cover a lot of gems in here.
I think there's a lot of gems, bro. Imagine we forecasted now the people that made it to end. There's going to be some like viral clips there. They're going to be like, yo, it's crazy. But seriously, guys, thank you for making it to them. Like always, bro, I love you guys. Feel free to check out the Instagram for the clips. And working on a wait list, so you guys can stay updated on that. But stay tuned for that. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for making it to then. And I'll see you guys on the next one.